Hey everyone, it's Mark Ferguson with Investor More, and we're outside a house flip that is finished and ready to sell. As always, there's a few minor things we found after it's all ready to list and sell that we always find, but for the most part, this one is ready to go. So this is one we bought from a wholesaler. We'll talk about that, how much we paid, what we'll sell it for, the repairs we made. This is actually a pretty easy one to do, and then we'll talk about a few of the challenges as well, and we'll splice in some of the before pictures as well to kind of show you what it looked like when we bought it. Now, of course, check out investormore.com for much more information on our flips, rentals, being an agent, all of that great stuff. And we have lots of books on Amazon and lots of coaching programs too if anybody's interested in learning how to actually invest in real estate. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good, but this one should be a pretty decent house. Now, one thing, of course, as I mentioned, there's always a few things we find or show up and are surprised, right? We had the garage door replaced. We had a dumpster here for a while, and the garage door was put next to the dumpster, and so they took the dumpster and just left the garage doors here. And so it would have been nice if the garage door guy would have taken that with him, or at least made sure it was in the dumpster. So now we've got to have our guys come back and pick those up, as it doesn't look very pretty right now with those laying in the driveway. And the other issue, and we had this on another property, actually rental property number 7, which I sold here last year, did a 1031 exchange into, was only a block or two away from here, and it also had a driveway that kind of sunk in. And so we have had such a hard time finding a mud jacker. A company does mud jacking. We did find a company that would do the other one, and then they won't respond to us. Now we asked them to come do this one. Haven't been able to find anybody else who'll do it. So if you're in northern Colorado and want a business idea, mud jacking is one where there's a definite need, because we cannot find good people. And I bought a kit and I didn't try and do it myself, but had my contractor kind of try and do it. But I'm not sure if he did it right, because there aren't many holes and we're not sure exactly how far it got. But our new plan is maybe just to have this one section report as well. But then our concrete guys are a few weeks out too, so eventually we'll have that driveway fixed. But we will mention it kind of in the remarks. Hey, this is being fixed, don't worry, we'll take care of it. All right, so this is a bi-level, which is not my favorite floor plan, but it is what it is, where you walk in and you either go up or you go down. And on this one, I know some people had complained about it before because you walk straight into the basement without a door. We put a door in, so that'll kind of help with the situation I'll talk about here later on things we decided to do or not do. This is a house we bought for, I think it was $259, I believe, from a new wholesaler I hadn't used before. I never saw inside the house before we bought it. I saw it the day before closing to make sure the tenant was out, because it was tenant occupied. You have to be very careful nowadays to make sure the tenants, previous owners, are out of the properties before you buy them. We've had a number of situations like that where they didn't leave, they won't leave, and we have to evict them, and that's just a whole nother problem in today's COVID world with trying to evict people. It's gotten easier now, but it's still not much fun. And so when we first saw the property, I thought it had a finished basement because I misread the wholesaler's remarks and looked at it and saw it wasn't finished, but it still should be a good deal, but that was a surprise back at the time. So for this one, we didn't do a whole lot. We did flooring. This is the same kitchen that was here before, but we redid the counter, painted the cabinets, put in a new stove, microwave, really dishwasher. Cabinets I think are okay. Painted. I think we can paint those. We did put new windows in, even though the house is 15 years old or so. A lot of the windows were junk. This is definitely a builder grade quality home with not high-end materials used. And the windows were junk. They had to be done. We did the doors because there's some holes in the walls, holes in the doors. But it really wasn't a bad rehab. And I know a lot of people wanted us to, but we did not finish the basement, so it was a pretty easy and cheap rehab because of that as well. So I'll talk about the basement more when I go down there. But for right now, we'll kind of look at here. I think we redid this tub surround, did a new vanity. It was all pretty up. Whoops, now I'm breaking all the staging stuff. Sorry about that. Oops. Let's see. Nikki can probably figure out where that goes. This isn't her staging job, but she is a house stager as well. So, and it just has 2 bedrooms up too. So there are a lot of factors working against this house, but the factors that are working for it is we're in Colorado, very strong real estate market, and very few houses for sale right now. So we paid $259. We probably spent $15,000 to $20,000 on the rehab, if that. I think we did have to do a new furnace, if I remember right. And I think we did a new water heater, so some extra costs there. And then it should be worth around $350, we're thinking, in that range. And we'll have, $25,000, $30,000 in other costs that go along with it as well. So it should be a decent flip. Won't make us hundreds of thousands of dollars, but it's quick, easy, didn't take a lot of resources, which is always nice when we're dealing with house flips because we have so many different projects going on and we don't have as many people as we would love to have, and it's very hard to find people to work on houses right now. So we have to be careful where we allocate those resources. All right, the garage. Yes, we did do the garage door as well. And then the backyard is also not very pretty. And this door also, this is another house. We have a couple houses lately where you could just tell people had broken into the homes, broken doors, broken door frames. And it's sad to see that because usually it's kind of a domestic issue when that's happening, not exactly someone trying to burglarize your house. And yeah, here's the beautiful backyard. All right. So yes, so when allocating resources to do these projects, right, in a perfect world, we'd have all the people and time in the world to finish the basement. But in reality, we have a lot of different projects going on. And if we finish this basement, it's not just the money it takes, but it's also the time it takes and the people who can't work on other houses that it takes as well. All right, so here's the basement. Oh, and I mentioned it before. We use this flooring a lot, but they have these special one-piece stairs that worked really well. It's way easier to install and way more durable than the normal. Normally you take just the laminate sheets and piece them together on the stairs, but this is actually made. It's a whole one piece just for the steps, so that's pretty cool. And they're at Home Depot. We get almost all our supplies at Home Depot. Look at that. No, I am not sponsored by Home Depot, but I have tried many times to get them to sponsor me and they won't do it. So if anybody knows anybody at Home Depot, that'd be awesome. But the reason we use them is just because really good people here in our local store to work with. Text to confirm is so easy to use, and they give us lots of good deals, and everything's in one place. And it just works out really well. So we've tried local lumber yards, we've tried Lowe's before, and our local Home Depot has just been the best for us. But many different ways to do things. All right, so here is the beautiful unfinished basement. So if we were to finish this basement, this property might be worth $390 maybe, and it might take us $20,000 to repair it. So on the surface, you think, oh, you spend $20,000 and you're adding $40,000 in value. True, that seems like a $20,000 gain, but it probably takes us at least a month, maybe 2 months longer, because we've got to go through the full permit process, wait for the city to approve the permits, have the permit company come by. They might call out other problems with the house, even though it's a newer house and we didn't see any issues. That doesn't guarantee they won't find other problems. And then while we're waiting those 2 months and having our people work on it, we don't just have, our money tied up in this house, but we're paying property taxes, we're paying insurance, we're paying utilities. And yes, we finance our flips too, so we have interest costs as well. So it costs us a couple $1,000s at least every month to own these properties. So that eats into your profit. And then there's 2 months or a month of our guys working here where they could be working on another project like the complex, which everybody loves, our 7-unit property with all the craziness and evictions, or the Ocho, or the compound, or some of the new properties we're buying where it seems crazy, but it makes more sense for us to have our people working on those. There's more money involved, more profit involved than it is finishing this basement. So we can let the new owners buy it, come in, finish the basement if they want to, or leave it how it is. And another thing too, which I know some people don't always consider or think of it as an advantage, is by it's not finishing the basement, it becomes more affordable for people. So instead of being, $390,000 house, it's a $350,000 house. And it's really, really hard to find decent, nice houses that are newer for $350,000. I know that might seem crazy, but in Colorado, prices are very, very high. It's very hard to find houses that are nice shape, newer houses like this in that price range. So it adds another house that someone can possibly afford, whereas it might push them above the limit, be less affordable if we finish the basement. So there are some advantages in, oh, that vent fell down. Another thing we found that needs fixed. But so there's reasons why we do and don't do as much work as we do on these properties. All right, so that is the house. That's our explanation for the basement. Few more things to do here, but we'll probably still list it today and just mention those things in the MLS that they'll be done. We always want to get our houses done as much as we can, have them all the way done before listing them. But for some very minor things like that, the driveway, the garage stuff, people can see, hey, okay, that'll be done. That doesn't really affect people in an emotional way. It's not like the house isn't painted or the carpet's not done or the kitchen counters aren't in. It's more of a functional way. So I think it's okay to leave those items and then we can still list it and just let people know it will be done. All right. Thanks for watching again. Like I said, we have a ton of resources on investormore.com. Lots of books on Amazon. A new book coming up here soon. We'll have another flip we're finishing up that we'll have a video of here soon. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe to see that. We'll have more videos on the complex, our multifamily properties, more videos on new flips we're buying, more videos on new rental properties we're buying, all kinds of cool stuff coming up. So be sure to stick around if you like our stuff. Love seeing the comments below as well, and love it when you like our videos too. All right, we'll be back with more soon.